Welcome, everybody. I'm Cherie Silas with Tandem Coaching, and this meetup is called Coaching Tools and Tips. And the purpose of this meetup is so that I can help to put you in connection with some really good coaches around the world. So many of the presenters that we have in this meetup are CECs or CTCs or PSTs or all them other letters. Many are professional coaches, but they're in this agile space, just like you are. And the goal is to provide a way for you to get even more access to some new learning and new techniques. And we specifically like to provide some kind of a tool that you can walk away with and take back to your company and go put into practice. So just in case you aren't aware, any time that you spend working with a CEC or a CTC, is valid for Scrum education units. So when you renew your certifications, you always need some continuing education. And this is one way that we provide continuing education for you, and you don't have to pay for it. So that's always a bonus. So today's speaker is Kemmy Raji, and she's going to be talking to us about creating a thinking environment with your clients. And she's got a tool that she's going to introduce to us that she created, and it's called a thinking environment canvas. And this is my first time seeing this and hearing this presentation from Kemmy. So I want to welcome you today, and I trust that you'll get plenty of great information and tools that you can use. If you stick around to the end, we'll be doing a giveaway, and you'll get the opportunity to win 3 coaching sessions with Kemmy. She is a professional coach with the International Coaching Federation, as well as being a CTC with the Scrum Alliance. So she has a lot to offer, and looking forward to hearing what she's got to say. So welcome, Kemmy. I'm going to hand this off to you and let you take it from there. And I am your servant. So just tell me what you need along the way. And I am happy to help.
Thank you so much, Sherry, for that warm welcome, as usual. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Just like Sherry said, let me share my screen. I always forget to do that. Just bear with me. I need to find, right. Great. Start. Okay. So we're going to be talking about creating a thinking environment. I don't know if I have to kind of like introduce myself first, because I know Sherry has done a bit of that, but a little bit about myself. Okay, I need to kind of like put away all these things first, so bear with me so I don't see myself. I'm a mom to 3 boys, a coach, a trainer, a mentor, and I hold a bunch of agile, Scrum, and coaching certifications, in addition to my university degrees. So I've been in agile domain for a while now, coaching teams, organizations, executives, and I've been in professional coaching for another additional 2 years, which I found really very interesting. So without taking much of your time, I'm going to dive into the topic for today, and which is creating a thinking environment. Sorry. A lot of times I find out that I don't do a lot of thinking myself, because I'm solution orientated. I kind of like get some few ideas and I run with it. So when I work with teams, I realize I'm rushing them as well, because they already have those ideas, and I'm thinking, why don't you just make a decision? And a couple of times I've worked with managers, I've worked with teams whereby they've said to me, well, you've got to let us do some thinking. And I said, oh, okay. And that's probably what made me to decide I need to work on I think patience is what it is, or maybe start taking myself away from that solution-oriented place, or perhaps creating that thinking environment for my teams to start working with. And that brought me to read the books by Nancy Kline on thinking environment. So I don't own this thinking environment thing. It's a copyright. I have just read extensively and watched some videos and implemented some of the concepts with my team, and it's worked. Not just for myself, but for my teams as well as I work with them. So what is thinking, you might say? And how often do we do thinking? So the noun interpretation of it is that it's the process of considering or reasoning about something, while the doing part of it is that using thoughts and rational judgment, most especially intelligence. I have had 2 or 3 managers whereby I've learned a lot in terms of how often we create this thinking environment for ourselves and for the people we work with. For instance, I work with someone, and as soon as I get into that, let's call the person manager 1. As soon as I get to manager 1's office, they're telling me every single thing that they need me to do. Whatever agenda I go in with, I don't get to say it. So I leave the office and I'm thinking that is a lot to process. And they're expecting me to do those things, what they want me to do. And I don't get time to process those information, let alone be able to make it my own. At the same time, I add another manager, let's call that person manager 2, whereby we're in a conversation and they're saying something and I'm looking and they're like, well, I need you to bring something to the table here. And I'm thinking, I don't have anything to bring to the table because that has not been what I'm used to. So I fought very hard with those 2 concepts. And as I grow and continue to grow in my coaching career, I realized manager 2 was actually the way to go. Although them telling me they need me to bring something to the table didn't feel easy for me. Maybe they could have done it in a better way. Because as an introvert, when you tell me to do something, or I feel pressurized to do something, I shut down, right? So what type of thinkers do we have? We have the left and right brain, isn't it? You might want to think of what brain you're using. But here are some ideas on how you can know what side of the brain you use. Just so you know, this is meant to be an interactive session. So if you have any questions as I go through my slide, let me know. I can't even see anybody right now. So I think Sherry is going to be controlling the chat box. But let me know if there's any question that pops up. So there are the linear thinkers. They're the left brain. So they prefer the logical, sequential, structured things that has to follow the way it should be to process. And they're more of a detailed orientated. Everything has to be planned. Things has to be in place before they can even do anything with that thought. And it has to be precise. And they define meaningfulness in categories, streamlines, systems, options. Those are the left thinkers, right? And then you have the lateral thinkers. They are the right brain dominant. They prefer to look at the pictures and understand the concepts. They focus on being overlooked, what is being overlooked, challenging assumptions. So those are the people that will always have another thought and another thought and another thought, because they're looking at it from different perspectives. right? And connecting the dots, right? And then you have the rounded thinkers. Those are the circular thinkers. They prefer to scan all information. Those are the people that they would look at the bigger pictures as well as the details. So as they're zooming in, they're zooming out. They're focusing on all the possibilities, everything possible that could be done or could be thought of. And they circle around different possibilities, whether directly or indirectly. You need to understand the type of thinker, the person or teams you're working with in order for you to be able to create that thinking environment for them. Because by understanding that, you know how to better serve them better, to have the conversation serve them better, or the environment serve them better, or the information you provide them to serve them better. So in creating thinking environment, there are a lot of things that needs to go into place, right? This is just something I threw in when I was looking at my personality test. And this is something you can do as well. It just helps you when you're working with a team to know how your team best to work together and what personalities are within your team. So as human, we go through stages of thinking, as they say. The first one is the feeling stage. The feeling stage is basically, let's just go back to the summary of it. So you have the feeling stage, you have the beliefs stage, you have the fact stage, and you have the ideas stage. So the feeling stage is that we are just thinking about how we feel. Everything is just about feelings. But when you focus so much about your feelings, you then detach from the world because you don't think about any other thing. You're not responsible for or accountable for what happens around you. You're just focusing solely on your feeling, and that's how you're basing your action and your choices. You're simply existing, right? Because that's how you feel. In some cases, if people dwell so much about their feelings, they're just looking at what they are feeling and not other people's feelings. So it's all about me, right? And you can't get them to see any other perspectives. And then the belief stage, which is the gamma stage, it's when you progress from the emotions part of things and then you latch onto something, a belief that someone has told you, most especially when you look at religion or you look at culture. That has been embedded in you, or you grew up with that culture and you've been told that's the right thing to do. You don't ask why, you just follow that belief, right? That's another stage of thinking. So people with this kind of mindset don't think outside of the box per se, because they feel that they're going to be penalized for doing something outside of that beliefs. And then the fact stage, which is a better stage. The danger with this one is that when you have little facts, they're based on that. Or whatever decision or thinking that people are doing are based on that little information which they have. But they know the what, but they don't actually know the why. So they're just doing it, what they see or what they read, without verifying. They're just doing it, right? And then the last stage is the ideas stage. This is where the why happens. This is where people start questioning beliefs. They start questioning feelings. They start asking questions about what should happen next. Why is this happening to me? What could happen? And believe you or not, we're all alphas. We're at that stage. We all have ideas. It's just that we're sometimes too lazy to think. So which is what brought me into the thinking of how do we create that thinking environment so that we can allow for people to start thinking for themselves. And sometimes as coaches and scrum masters, or even whatever role we are of authority, or we feel that we have authority, or people perceived authority, they leave the thinking for us to do. How can you take that authority or perceived authority away and give that back to your team, to your teams or organization? So Nancy described 10 ways of creating that thinking environment. And one is the attention. So in no particular order. One is attention, equality, ease, appreciation, encouragement, information, feelings, diversity, incisive questions, and plays. And she believes that when all these things happen, you have created a thinking environment for your team or organization. But most importantly, you have helped to empower your team to think for themselves. She dwelled a lot on this attention because she believed that when you give attention to people, that's the very first step of creating that thinking environment. And you have to ask yourself, how much attention do you give to people when they're speaking? Right? How much attention, undivided attention, do you give to people when they need you? Sometimes we find ourselves multitasking. I am not. I'm guilty of that as well. I'm doing something and someone comes to me, they start talking. Rather than leaving what I'm doing and giving them that full attention, I will say, I'm listening, right? And I still carry on doing what I'm doing. That's not a full attention, right? Your listening skills comes to play here. What level of listening are you? Level 1, level 2, or level 3? Are you there interrupting the person, or are you there thinking about your own experience as well, or thinking about the next thing you want to say? Or are you fully focused to what that person is telling you? So ask yourself, when was the last time you actually give someone full attention, undivided attention, right? So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to form a pair in the breakout room. Sherry is going to help us with that. And first person is going to prepare something they want to say, right? Sorry, just bear with me. Okay, I'm trying to read, sorry. So form a pair in the breakout room and prepare for one person to share a story. First person shares the story for 5 minutes, right? Share a story of a time when you've not been heard, seen, or respected. Or perhaps you want to flip it and share a story about the time you were heard, seen, and respected. And then switch after 5 minutes.
Alrighty. So I will.
And then, sorry, the last part, we're going to debrief for 3 minutes afterwards when we come back into the session.
Okay, sounds good. I have everybody ready to go in breakout rooms, and I'm going to send this over to you. Kemi, what's the total amount of time we want?
We want 7 minutes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 15 minutes. So 5 minutes each on each side.
Okay. So yeah. I'm going to put you in breakout rooms, and my timer, it's like a warning timer. That's 2 minutes. So you'll see a 2-minute timer come up, and then you can either jump back in the main room if you're done, or you can wait, and when your time expires, it'll pull you back in. If for some reason you all get done before the total time, then feel free to come back to the main breakout room. I am shipping you off right now. And Kemi, I have you in a room by yourself, so you don't have to join. Oh, you're already gone.
right? So, for instance, a thinking partner comes to you. Someone comes to you and they want they're asking to help them think, or maybe they're not even asking that questions. A lot of time we don't even ask questions. They're coming to you and say, "Hey, I have a problem. Can you help me solve it?" You don't want to tell them no, but at the same time, you don't want to solve that problem for them because you know that they can solve the problem. So the question, or one of the questions could be that, what are you assuming right now? All right. Or what are you assuming that it's in the way? Or what are the possible solutions, or what are the possible solutions that you have that can help you solve that problem? And I would then give you my own, share my own experience. So these questions are really great in helping people to think, rather than, I tell you what, this is what you should do, that is what you should do. I'm guilty of that too, because it's the easiest way for me to, in my own opinion, to help someone. But I'm not doing them a great service, am I? So the final one is place. Place in terms of the environment, the atmosphere. What is it like? Any distractions within the team? Any distraction with that person you're talking to? It could be that they are in the office and they get distracted. They get called to do stuff to do things every time. So how about taking them away from that working environment into an area whereby they wouldn't be disturbed? How do you create that place in the absence of resources for your team, for the individual to be able to speak, to be able to think, to be able to do their work at their best? Again, it could be the psychological safety as well. So take a look from your of a retrospective. You have someone of high authority in retrospective, and everyone goes silent, right? That's not the right place to have conversation. So place is very important as well. So those are the 10. There's one more. Appreciation. And I think we're going to get into another breakout session here for 2 minutes. Appreciation is appreciating the person for what they've done rather than for who they are. So in order to do this, you need to, I think the good way of explaining this is the radical candle thing. So you need to know them, you need to understand, you need to believe in them in order for you to appreciate what they're doing, and to be able to, for that appreciation to go a long way, right? When you appreciate people for what they do, for what they're doing, you'll find out that they would show, they would come out at their best. So I think we're going to go into the partner which we have earlier on, and we're going to look at sharing something positive about that person or what you long for them. And then you're going to share something positive about someone who has guided you or supported you professionally. The person doesn't have to be in this room, right? 2 minutes each on each side, and you take a chance to share that positive message. So, and then we'll come back to the main room.
Okay, so I'm going to send everybody to breakout rooms. You'll get a 2-minute warning when, so I'll leave you in there for about 3 minutes, and then I'll click on the 2-minute warning, and then we'll be back in a total of 5 minutes.
So they kind of understand We're going.
Welcome back, everybody. Kemi, everybody is back. You are good to go.
Okay, welcome back. What was that like for you? Anybody want to share? Would just take one, two.
It was good to remember somebody in our life, like who we don't maybe not in touch anymore, or like not interacting with them quite often. So when you think about somebody who has guided or supported you professionally or personally, right? So yeah, it brought good memories.
Okay, any other thoughts?
I was going to say that because you went sort of through the traits or some of the things to think about, it was very easy for me then to think about a person that's got a lot of that's helped me, through my journey. So it was all, I could go back going, oh yes, they're very appreciative, they're very encouraging, they've ticked all those sort of boxes that you went through. So for me, it was a nice mirroring of it just sort of came to me.
Yeah. And to share something positive, you don't even have to know that person, right? You could just share that, whatever message you're getting at that moment with them, or what you long for them, right? And it goes a long way. It's really touching. A lot of times we will share what people are doing, but we don't share what something positive with them, and that takes them to the next level. So in order to facilitate a thinking environment, you need to have a room contract. Similarly to the retrospective, which you do with your teams, what is it that we want to take away from here? How are we going to be interacting? How are we communicating? That helps a lot. So everyone knows what's happening because you would have explained to them what's going to happen. And then as a facilitator, you try and stay away. I remember facilitating one of these, and it was my first one actually, while I was trying this out, and I kept interrupting and injecting, and before I know it, everyone stopped talking, which wasn't the goal. So try and stay away from it. Again, that this will be part of your contract, to let people know that you're not going to be involved, but you are going to be injecting and trying to guide them. And then hold the structure. Make sure everything is in place before you even start doing this, right? And ensuring that whatever is going to be in the way, it's removed, and you still maintain that 10 things that needs to happen. However, don't overprotect, because we know people better, or maybe they've confide in us something. We want to protect them, or we want to say, oh, what this person means is, you don't want to do that. Whatever happens, let it happen, because you never know where it's going to take you. At the end of the day, you want to create that thinking environment, and you want to help your team by letting them unleash that thought in them. So a good question to ask is, what else are you thinking? What else? And what else are you thinking? Right. So that's the end of my presentation, and I would want to know, what are you thinking?
Awesome. Thank you. Who has some questions that you'd like to ask?
For me, it's not a question, it's more of a thank you. Thank you. It was a good session. Great reminders. I mean, as coaches, we go for training for all these things, but we slip back and forth sometimes. Great reminders. It's been a fantastic session, because we need, one of the two things that I know are difficult is mentoring. It's listening and not giving advice as a coach. Those two things were the things I struggled with. Not giving advice and listening. Those were the two areas that I felt I had to continuously improve as an area, as a coach. So for me, these are just, great reminders, so to speak. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Who else?
So again, like thanks, Kemi. So I'm currently working with kind of a newer team, so which is getting to know each other. I'm sure this might be quite useful exercise for me to run with that team to understand their thinking processes and how they think. So my question is like, what size of a group is good for this kind of an activity, and what are the what kind of safety mechanisms that should be in place for me as a facilitator to run this exercise, so that like it doesn't either get too bogged down, like nobody sharing anything, or it's like becoming too passionate and everybody is like out in the open and there's like each other's throat and kind of thing. So how to find that balance with this
Yeah,
activity?
you're right. And like anything, it's all about experiment. So I created something. Can you see my screen still?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. What did I not do?
Oh, I had unshared it just so we could all see each other, but you can
Oh, okay. All right.
share it again.
Okay, I need to move this out of the way. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I created this canvas. Well, it's not your typical canvas. I've just used this template to put things in the box and to help me to think as well before I even consider facilitating a thinking environment. So how am I going? I'm going to share this with you. I said to Sherry earlier on, when I printed it, some of the content cut off. So I would do that and share it later. So this is what I work with, and in order for me to prepare myself. And I would have noticed some of the things or some people that I need to talk to beforehand in order to facilitate this. For instance, the place. How am I going to find a suitable place? Because where I work, there are no availability of rooms. So where am I going to find a place that would help to facilitate this thinking environment? And where are the people that I know talks a lot in the meeting that I need to first have a conversation with to let them know this is going to happen and how it's going to be handled? Or who are the people that kick against something new, right? And again, it's not to penalize them. It's okay to talk, but if we're having a conversation and trying to solve something, we need everyone on board. And by the time you engage everyone individually and collectively, you're going to have a seamless conversation. And you'll find that people talk. And again, it's about creating that diversity, creating the ease, right? Psychological safety. And one thing I find has worked for me really well is sharing my own thoughts. So this is what I'm thinking. This is what that just occurred to me. What are you guys thinking too? Right. And by sharing that thought process, they're able to share theirs too. So it doesn't have to be some time dedicated or finding group of people, bringing a group of people in one room. It could be one-to-one as well. Right. It could be someone coming to you and say, I have a problem, can you help me? And you give that person all the attention they can ever think of.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Kemi.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this would be a great resource for you to share and for us to try and leverage and use it with our team. So thank you for creating this.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we have time for one more question.
How do I stop sharing thing? Okay, great. Thanks, Jerry.
Great. Any other comments or questions, Rohit?
I have one. It's more on what's your experience of using it with leadership group, helping them create a thinking place or supporting that thinking environment across organization. Have you tried this exercise with them?
So a lot of what you said, I didn't hear. You were breaking off. Maybe it's just me.
So What was your experience using it with the leadership group to create that thinking environment across their organization?
My first one was really tricky because it was like, well, just solve the problem, right? Solve the problem. And it was that consulting mode of how does it work for you? Rather than this is my experience, what are you going to take away from it? So it didn't go very well. But as soon as I tried the second time, again, it's iteration, I then created a very tight agreement, right? This is what I'm going to help you with. This is what you're going to bring to the table. This is where we're meeting each other, right? I need you to be prepared. You're bringing this beforehand, right? These are the homework. And it's making things really explicit, right? Information explicit. Remember about information, giving information for people. So some of this thing you have to do even before you meet with them, because you would have been thinking about it too, right? So the information part, what do you need, or how much information do you need to give to them in order for them to make that decision, or in order for them to come to you as a thinking pattern, right? And how much attention can this person give, right? Because it works both ways. They bring their own attention, you bring your own attention, especially if it's a leadership. They only got 5 minutes attention span, right? Can you get something concrete out of that? Right. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a huge session. It could even be 10 minutes of undivided, and you get something done, rather than having an hour of everyone talking and nothing comes out of it.
Great points. Thank you. And then we have one request. If you can put up the slide that has the 10 steps or the 10 words on it,
Okay.
that would be great. I'll give you a minute to look for that. And then I want to remind everybody that we have another session coming up next week. And that one is with a CEC. His name's Brandon Rains. I'm not sure if you all know him or not. He lives in the DC area. He's a great guy. I've been friends with him and professionally knowing him for several years now. We took some classes together, coaching classes with CTI, and he's a great guy. So he's going to be doing a session on navigating. It's called Coaching Patterns for Navigating the Forming, Storming, Norming, and Performing. So he's going to help you with some tools that you can bring back to your workshop, and coaching patterns and ideas that you can use for working with people and teams when they're in all 4 of those states. So that'll be next week at the same time. And then I am going to go. Kemi, you can share that slide whenever you're ready. That way they can get what they need. And I've put everybody's name in a name picker. So Kemi is going to be giving away today three coaching sessions with her. So I've got everybody's name in my name picker, and I'm going to shuffle those up. And let's see who will get the opportunity to meet with Kemi. Oh, there it is. I couldn't remember how to turn it on. All right, let's see. Rob Hensley, are you still here? Rob, are you here? Maybe not. I know we had just a couple people in at the very end, and if he's not here, then someone else gets the chance. Nope, it looks like he dropped off. So I'm going to remove him, shuffle this up, and try one more time. Ooh, Daniela. I believe Daniela is still here. Is that right? Yep. She is still here. So if you can just chat Kemi, your email address or however you'd like to be contacted, you and her can work out separately how you want to get together and get those coaching sessions done. And she's a great coach. I've been coached by her before, so you are in for a treat. Well, welcome. Thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate that you spent this time together with us today. And I will send out and attach to the meetup the information that Kemi sends over with the slides and the canvas. So that way you'll have it for your future reference. It's been great having you, and have a great weekend.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Kemi.
everyone.
Thanks, Sherry.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you. Thank you very
everybody.
much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.